today my presentation will be about pornography and what exactly pornography is, how to help the person dealing with it, and how to help the spouse of him or her that is dealing with this issue. So, what is pornography? The Webster Dictionary gave me the definition: the depiction of erotic behavior as in pictures or writing intended to cause sexual excitement. Part of the book's definition said it dehumanizes, objectifies, and degrades the men and women involved. This is exactly what porn does to an individual. It attacks a weakness in them and manipulates them to keep coming back, even when they don't want to. Something I also think that is left out of the definition is that pornography is an addiction. Scientists have compared the addictiveness of pornography to drugs or alcohol. Pornography can be an escape from reality and stress, just like a drug. Sensitization is hyper-reactivity to cues that lead to craving and then to use. To put it simply, porn users become super sensitive to things that trigger them, which then gives them the seemingly uncontrollable urge to look at porn. The effects and the affected. Porn doesn't just affect guys, it also affects girls. Kids are even being exposed to this new drug, as they're now naming it. In 2020, a survey was taken and showed that the majority of kids are exposed to porn by age 13, with some exposed as young as 7. So pornography isn't just something that adults deal with, which is good to keep in mind, especially if you are counseling a family. It's something to let the parents know about and be aware of to protect their children from. I can guarantee that there are more people around you struggling than you may realize, even friends of yours, and it's not a talked about subject, and I think it should be brought up more so that we can help those who are struggling with it. But some choose this life while others have fallen into it and don't know how to escape. These young kids that they're talking about, on the article that I linked, some just mistyped something when they were looking something up on the internet or on YouTube, or they've been exposed to it by older siblings, parents, outside influences, and then they just came back searching for it, for the dopamine that it gives your brain. An escape from stress turns into a bond that is hard to break. It doesn't solve the stress, but makes it worse when the dopamine hit is gone. Some things to remember as counselors. The person that you are counseling feels a huge amount of shame and guilt for struggling with this issue. Our job as a counselor is to make our client feel as comfortable as possible so that they feel free to open up and communicate about what they are struggling with. It is good to also remember that we have all sinned as humans, and God has been forgiving and gracious to us. He loves us with compassion, and we should love one another in the same way. And also, a huge thing to let your client and the spouse know is that it is possible for victory and to overcome this issue. I know in addictions, it can seem like, oh, there's no way out, there's no way I can possibly get out of this. But there are ways, and there are things to combat it, and people to bring alongside you to help you fight through this addiction, both the spouse and the person struggling with it. A verse I listed here was Romans 3:23, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Some questions to ask. These were listed in the Marriage and Family Counseling book, the Quick Reference Guide. How long have you been in pornography? How often do you view porn? What made you start? What causes you to want to view porn? What times are you most tempted? Has this affected any of your relationships? Do you think it will? Have you tried to quit? If so, how long? What are you hoping to do about it? Have you sought out God in this matter? These are all very important questions to ask the client and to get a picture of how exactly the issue started and what triggers allow them to want to seek out for that. And also it'll let you know how to find ways to replace seeking pornography with other activities and habits, routines that you can do to get out of the cycle of going back again and again to pornography. I also listed some questions to ask the spouse. When did you find out? How do you feel about it? Have you spoken to him or her about it? How did they respond? Have you seen any changes or attempts at solving this? How can I help you? Are you willing to learn how to help your spouse? I think another huge thing is for the spouse. It's very painful. It's a very painful thing to go through, and it feels like a betrayal almost. Like, why am I not good enough? Why do I have to deal with this, etc. But I think it's a good thing to teach the spouse tips and ways to help their mate solve this, help to keep them accountable in the home. It's easy to avoid like accountability partners and mentors outside of your home that aren't living with you constantly. But when you have a husband or a wife who's right beside you, living with you, and that can look out for those triggers and see when they're stressed, see when they're tired, see if they're angry or hungry, as I list in a little bit. But just having someone to be there, yes, it hurts, but what can we do to solve it? What can we do to end this addiction? It's a long, it depends on the person, but I'd say it's probably a long and painful road, as they will fall in and fall back out of it. But it's good to give them, the spouse, tools to help their spouse and to just let them know about it and let them know how to help. And also I think it would be good for to get the couple together and maybe get the person dealing with it to like list ways that the spouse could help. This could be praying for them. This could be texting them checkups. It could be setting up a routine of like stuff you can do together to avoid them falling back into it. Some action steps. The book listed this acronym in helping figure out what is the triggering the response to look at porn. And it's HALT, hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. So these are all triggers that may be causing this person to seek the dopamine hit, to seek escaping reality and whatever they're going through. But some action steps for the person dealing with it is to 1, flee temptation, 2, identify emotional triggers, 3, see it as a sin, 4, refocus on Christ, 5, find support and accountability, 6, check in on the marriage, and 7, seek further help. This isn't going to end in a day, and it needs constant work and just recognizing that it's there and that it can be fixed if you really put in the work and seek help. Some action steps for the spouse. Watch for triggers, identify emotional triggers, continue to love him or her, pray, and encourage support. Like I mentioned before, just being there for them and helping them figure out ways to replace the addiction with good habits and Bible reading, prayer, etc. Pornography can separate the spouse, separate the two spouses, and it can be replace intimacy. So making sure that you, like, through the healing process of this, to keep intimate, keep things unique and fun and new, and just keep the intimacy alive between your marriage, because that's a huge part of marriage and it shouldn't be overlooked. Some other verses I put: 1 Thessalonians 4:3-5 and Philippians 4:8. And here are my resources. Thank you.